The Second Battle of Geonosis was the climactic rematch between the Republic and the Separatists, and served as a chance for the Republic to show that it had greatly improved its strategy when compared to the beginning of the war. I'm Zach from the Five Nights Tavern, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Second Battle of Geonosis. Let's get started. Despite what one may think when looking at this particular battle, this is not just a simple retread of what we saw in Attack of the Clones. Here, the droids are well dug in and are defending an important weapons factory, while the clones do not have the element of surprise like they did originally, and must carefully plan out how to best retake the planet. Their old strategy of just rushing the droids head-on with no cover isn't really going to fly here, and they all know it. So Generals Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Ki-Adi-Mundi must come up with a plan to bypass the droid lines and attack the factory, using a three-pronged attack to mitigate losses and ensure that at least some of their forces can make it to the landing site at Point Rain. From the get-go here, we can see that the Jedi strategy has improved, but that they are still pretty overconfident. The idea that they can basically just fly an army over the heads of the droids without much issue should really tell you everything you need to know about the current state of their tactics. Ahsoka really seems to be the only one worried, as she points out this massive droid fortress, but Anakin retorts that they won't be going anywhere near that, and clearly their overconfidence is a serious weakness. As expected, things go wrong for the Republic pretty much immediately, as the landing craft are lit up by powerful anti-air barrages, leading to the destruction of many of the dropships. Republic aircraft do their best to clear it out, but they have seriously underestimated the Separatist strength and are now paying dearly for it. Generals Mundi and Skywalker are shot down pretty quickly, and are forced to rally their troops for a push against the main droid line that they didn't originally prepare for, and although Kenobi's forces did manage to make the rendezvous, he is wounded in a crash, and his troops are quickly surrounded by droids who will soon be overwhelmed if help doesn't arrive. Republic planning at its best here, ladies and gentlemen. It's at this point that I really want to take a step back and talk about why the Jedi thought they could just blow through the droids. This seems like a ridiculous oversight that has now endangered the entire invasion. Even if they had all made the landing, how exactly were they going to be reinforced with the droids still at their back? Were they planning on just blowing up the factory in like 20 minutes and then leaving? What's to stop them from just rebuilding it once they leave? I really don't get it. Like, sooner or later the Republic would have had to handle that battle line. Why not plan for it now? Go ahead and still land troops at Point Rain to cut off enemy reinforcements, but you need to commit a force to actually assault those positions rather than just ignore them and hope that they go away. Whew, that was a fun rant. Where were we? Oh yeah, the Jedi are getting their asses kicked. Okay, so remember when Ahsoka brought up that droid fortress that no one else seemed concerned with? Well, it's definitely something to be concerned about now, as Skywalker's forces are pinned down by it and must now work quickly to dismantle it and get to Kenobi. Time is really of the essence here, but thankfully, this is Anakin Skywalker we're talking about, and he always has a crazy plan to win the day and show off. And in this case, he and Ahsoka climb the wall, drop a bunch of bombs into it, and clear the way in spectacular fashion. General Mundi, on the other hand, is having arguably a worse time, as he was actually injured in his crash, yet he's pressing on with his men as they are ambushed by Geonosians who threaten to overwhelm his forces in a desperate close-range brawl. After a fierce battle, his units bring up some flamethrowers to drive the bugs back and save the remnants of his men. The Geonosians have always really creeped me out personally, and just the thought of having to take these things on in a claustrophobic cave where at any moment they could scoop you up and drag you away is just horrific to me. As if all of this wasn't bad enough, Kenobi's forces are being devastated by a combined attack of droids and bugs. The clones had set up a ringed perimeter using what vehicles they could scrape up, but as the droids draw near and casualties start racking up, it seems as though Kenobi and his men are about to actually meet a gruesome fate, as they simply can't hold back the enemy's overwhelming might. Thankfully though, this is Star Wars we're talking about, and help arrives in the form of a mighty bombing run. Oh, hey look, it's those Y-Wings the Resistance should have used at Dakar, saving the day and allowing our heroes to finally regroup and prepare for the actual battle to begin. So before the Grand Army of the Republic lies a shield generator guarded by heavy droid artillery, and it's time for the Jedi to come up with a plan. Oh, I've got it. Anakin, you go take a squad of troops and charge right up the middle. I really need to trademark this tactic, but what should I call it? The Skywalker Rush? The Jedi Blitz? I'm sure a name is going to come to me eventually. Leave your ideas down in the comments. Let's see what we can come up with. Anyway, so Anakin goes and does his thing, more clones die, unnecessary deaths, the shield is disabled, you know the drill, yada yada yada, and what was supposed to be the first phase of the battle is finally over. The Republic's losses so far have been staggering, and the factory hasn't even really been attacked yet. So now it's time to call in some reinforcements and replace the wounded Kenobi and Mundi. Enter Jedi Master Luminara Unduli and her Padawan Barriss Offee, two calculated and strategic Jedi to help plan out the next phase of the battle. Now, in all fairness, their strategy does call for some drastic thinking, and Ahsoka and Barriss are going to infiltrate the factory and plant explosives to destroy it from within, and a distraction is needed to draw attention away from them. The problem is that the only direct way into the factory is a small bridge over a sheer drop, prompting Skywalker and Luminara to once again opt for the Jedi Parade? Maybe I'll call it that, who knows. Now, by this point, Skywalker's army has been through hell, and if I were them, the prospect of just marching directly at a droid factory might seem like suicide. But given the terrain, there really wasn't much other options available to flush out the droids. I sometimes wonder why they didn't just use aircraft at all for this part of the attack. It almost seems like they completely forgot that they had achieved air superiority, or perhaps didn't explain that other fronts maybe needed the aircraft more. But otherwise, why wouldn't they use gunships or Y-wing bombers to bury the droids outright? So the attack begins, and at first things seem to be going well, but of course...
It's a trap!
Leading to the Geonosians getting the drop on Republic forces from the rear. I haven't really touched on it too much yet, but I like the mix of upfront combat with the droids and the more guerrilla tactics of the bugs. I think they mesh well together to cause chaos against the Republic, who at this point only really has one tactic in their playbook. Turns out, though, that this trap was really just the prelude to the SEP's main event. Enter the Super Tank. These monstrous machines are the perfect counter to the Republic's direct attacks, and with a powerful ray shield, heavy armor, laser cannons, and a mighty mortar barrage weapon, just a handful of these tanks quickly overwhelm the clones, devastate their artillery, and force a retreat in one fell swoop. Thankfully, Skywalker has a plan, as he always does, and opts to sneakily plant charges on that pesky bridge, blowing it out from underneath the overpowered tanks and sending them crashing down into the void. Shortly after, the Padawans manage to complete their mission in destroying the weapons factory, assuring victory for the Republic. Technically, this isn't the end of the Battle of Geonosis, as later on we start to deal with the Geonosian Queen and these zombie-type Geonosians, but I didn't think that that would really be good for this particular analysis of this battle. But if you want to hear my thoughts on that kind of stuff, please leave a comment down below and I'll definitely be getting to it. I'd love to talk about it. Overall, I'm a big fan of this battle. It shows improvement with regards to Republican Jedi strategy, but also shows that they really still have a lot to learn. But what did you guys think? What did you like or dislike about the battle? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. We just broke 1,000 subscribers, and honestly, I don't even really have the words to thank each and every one of you for helping support our little growing channel. It's really been a dream come true, and just thank you so much. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and as always, cheers.